Hello students, good morning to all. Hope everyone is thorough with the chapter 2 nutrition in animals, what I taught you in the last class. So the remaining part of the chapter we are going to discuss in this class. Before that, shall we recall the points once again? In the last class we discussed up to stomach. Is it not? First, what is digestion and nutrition in animals? In this, nutrition means what? Obtaining the nutrients from the food items. For what purpose we are taking the food? We are taking the food to obtain the nutrients. So the process of obtaining the nutrients is called nutrition, and this mode of nutrition is different in case of different animals. For example, in insects and all sucking, birds and insects and all sucking mode, and in case of snails scraping, in butterfly through a separate mouth part called proboscis, through it siphoning mode of intake. So, and we are taking through the mouth. Some animals will swallow. So the mode of intake of food into the body or into the mouth is called ingestion, and this mode of intake of food differs in different organisms. And after the ingestion process, next step, digestion. After taking in, the digestion starts. Digestion means what? What we take, that food is a complex food, and that complex food, the process of breaking down the complex food, the process of breaking down of complex food into simple food is called digestion. Complex food into simple form is called digestion. Is it not? Do you remember? And what we are taking, that food contains what type of nutrients? Already you have studied carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, including water. And those components of the food are called complex food. And our body could not absorb and utilize that as such. It should be broken down into simple forms. So that breaking down of complex food into simple form is called digestion. Now in this chapter we are dealing with digestive system of humans, human digestive system. So in human digestive system there are 6 compartments. What are they? Buccal cavity, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, anus. Okay, 6 compartments are there, and in that we dealt with 3 in the last class. That is buccal cavity. Buccal cavity means what? The mouth. So in the mouth, the digestion starts. After we put the food into the mouth itself, the digestion starts with the help of salivary glands. What are all present in the buccal cavity? Salivary glands, teeth and tongue. So this salivary gland secretes saliva, which is an enzyme which helps to convert the carbohydrates into simple sugars. So in buccal cavity, what happens? Carbohydrates is converted into simple sugars. Carbohydrates into simple sugars with the help of the enzyme saliva. Is it not? After that, the teeth helps to bite and chew and grind the food. Then it is with the help of the tongue, it is turn the foods inside the mouth and push the food into the next compartment, esophagus. And regarding the teeth, we study the different types of teeth according to their shape and size and according to their functions. What are they? Incisors, canines, premolars and molars. Their number, structure, function, everything we studied. After that, the tongue pushes the food into the esophagus, the next compartment. Hope you all remember the diagram also. So I'll draw here. Okay, this is the mouth. Enters into this is the buccal cavity. Here the salivary glands will be present, tongue, teeth, everything will be present. And from the buccal cavity it enters into the esophagus. Okay, before that I want to mention you one thing, that is the windpipe and the food pipe have the same passage. They both travel in the common tube. Then only it will be divided into two. They travel in the same pipe here, that is called the windpipe. Here from the nose we inhale the air, and this is the food pipe or esophagus. And both the windpipe and the food pipe, they have the same passage. That is why when we talk while we eat, we get choking. Because the food particles will enter into the windpipe. That is why we got choking. Okay, so after that from the buccal cavity it enters into the esophagus. In the esophagus a special type of movement is there. That is the wall of the esophagus will get constricted and allows the food to enter step by step. That movement is called as peristaltic movement. Already I explained you. So through the peristaltic movement the food enters into the stomach. So the esophagus is connected to the stomach. So one end of the upper end of the stomach is connected with the esophagus, and the lower end of the stomach connected with the small intestine. So in the buccal cavity, carbohydrates is converted into simple sugars. After that, so this is the esophagus, and from the esophagus it enters into the stomach. So this is the esophagus food pipe. From here the one end of the esophagus or the stomach is connected with the food pipe, and the other end is connected with the small intestine. Here, like this. So this stomach is a flattened U shape or J shape they will call, and it is the widest part in the alimentary canal. And this alimentary canal is here in the stomach. Three things are secreted. What are they? One is mucus. Then second one hydrochloric acid, and digestive juices. So three things are secreted. In the buccal cavities, salivary gland secretes saliva. Next, in the stomach, three things are secreted, that is mucus, hydrochloric acid and digestive juices. The inner lining of the stomach, it secretes the mucus which protects the inner wall of the stomach. It is a muscular bag. It churns the food and it helps in digestion. That is, in the stomach, the proteins secrete, or in the stomach, proteins are converted into amino acids. Simple form. Here in buccal cavity, carbohydrates is converted into simple sugars. So in stomach, protein is converted into amino acids. So in the food, what nutrients are all present? Carbohydrates, proteins. So both are converted into simple sugars. Amino acid is a simple sugar. Okay, so like this, simple sugar means carbohydrate into glucose. It will be converted into glucose. Understand? Next, hydrochloric acid secreted in the stomach helps to keep the medium of the stomach acidic and kills the harmful bacteria that enters along with the food. It will kills all the harmful bacteria and makes the medium acidic. Next one, digestive juices secreted in the stomach. That also helps in converting the protein into amino acids. So in this way, the buccal cavity and stomach helps in digesting the carbohydrate and proteins. Next, up to this we studied in the last class. Now we shall see the small intestine. So in the small intestine, it is a long coiled tube. It is a long coiled tube. How long it is? 7.5 meters long. Small intestine. It is long coiled tube. How long it is? 7.5 meters long. It is 7.5 meters long. It is highly coiled. It is coiled, highly coiled. Nalla sutti sutti irukku. Okay, and this joins with the, it is get connected with the large intestine. And in this small intestine, what happens? Let us see one by one. It also secretes the digestive juices as like the stomach. It also secretes, and along with this intestinal juices, here is another organ called liver that is on the right side of the abdomen. This is the liver and it is reddish brown color. That organ is, liver is reddish brown color. Reddish brown color, which is located on the upper part of the abdomen. On the, this is abdomen. Abdomen means nothing but the stomach. So on the upper part of the stomach on the right side. Largest gland, liver is the largest gland in the body. Largest gland in the body. And it secretes bile juice. What the liver secretes? Bile juice. And it is stored, and inside the liver there is a small organ called gallbladder. This is the liver and this yellow part is the gallbladder, where that bile juice is stored. So in the liver, the bile juice is secreted and it is stored in this gallbladder, and this helps in the digestion of fats. Fats into fatty acid and glycerol. Fatty acid and glycerol. So carbohydrate is converted into simple sugars, that is glucose in buccal cavity. Then proteins is converted into amino acid in the stomach. Next, in the small intestine, fatty acid and glycerol. Fat is converted into fatty acid and glycerol with the help of the secretion of the liver called bile juice. And that bile juice is stored in this gallbladder. Okay, now I will show you that chart also. The last class itself I showed you. Listen. Now in this diagram, the last class we studied up to this buccal cavity, long esophagus. Next one, it enters into the stomach, flattened U shape or J shape. And can you see this curve here? This stomach, at one end it is connected with the esophagus and the other end it joins with the small intestine. This small intestine is a highly coiled. See how it is highly coiled here, and it is 7.5 meters long. Okay, then here this liver, this is the reddish brown gland. It is an endocrine gland which secretes the bile juice, and this is the gallbladder. This light green color, can you see? This is a gallbladder, and this liver secretes that bile juice which helps in the digestion of fats, and these secretions will enter into the small intestine. And to the right side, here another one, here one cream colored gland is seen. I don't know whether you could see clearly. See, this is the biggest gland, liver. This green color is the gallbladder, and this here in between the stomach and the small intestine there is a cream colored gland called pancreas. Okay, that also secretes pancreatic juice. That pancreas secrete pancreatic juice. See, fatty acids. So the liver secretes bile juice. Another one, pancreas. Pancreatic juice. So pancreas is a cream colored cream colored organ, and it secretes the pancreatic juice. It is located below the stomach. It is located below the stomach, and it will have a leaf like structure like this. So above the abdomen, in the right side, the largest gland, liver, is present, and below the stomach, what is present? The cream colored organ called pancreas. This is the pancreas. It secretes the pancreatic juice. So, and along with this, the small intestine secrete the intestinal juice. The small intestine secretes the intestinal juice. It secretes the intestinal juice. So all these, this bile juice, then pancreatic juice, then intestinal juice, all the three, they function together and converts the carbohydrates, proteins and fats into simple sugars. So with this help of these associated glands, so this is the digestive tract. Okay, here the long coiled small intestine is present, like this, highly coiled, and the small intestine is connected with large intestine, and it ends in the rectum or anus. Here, anus. Okay, so from buccal cavity to the anus, it is called as digestive tract. Along with this associated glands, what are that associated? Liver and pancreas. It is called as digestive system. I hope you all could view the diagram fully. Okay, so here from the buccal cavity to the anus, it is called as digestive tract. Along with this associated glands, that is liver and pancreas, it is called as digestive system. And all these secretes in the buccal cavity, what is secreted? salivary gland secretes saliva. In the stomach, hydrochloric acid, mucus, everything is secreted, digestive juices. In the liver, bile juice is secreted, and in the pancreas, pancreatic juice, and in the small intestine, intestinal juice. So all these converts that carbohydrate, protein and fats into simple forms. With this, the digestion gets over. Okay, with this the digestion gets over. So all the complex food, this complex food the body cannot absorb directly. So it is broken down into simple forms. After that, the digested food is sent to this large intestine. From the small intestine, it enters into this large intestine. And this large intestine, I hope everyone understand this. After this, from the small intestine, the digested food enters into the large intestine. Okay. And in the large intestine, what happens? Next, in the small intestine itself, the digested food is passed through that blood vessels. It is passed through the blood vessels. It enters through the blood vessels and the nutrients will be absorbed. That broken down nutrients will be absorbed. This process of absorption of the converted food, simple food into the blood is called absorption. So, absorption process, digestion gets over in the small intestine. In the small intestine itself, all the complex food is converted, digested into simple forms. And that nutrients should be absorbed by the blood. How it is absorbed? While in the small intestine, lot of blood vessels will be supplied. So, when the digested food passes through the small intestine, it will pass through the blood vessels and the blood vessels will absorb those nutrients, simple form of food, and this mode of absorbing that digestive food is called absorption. So the digestion and absorption takes place in the small intestine. Next one. In the small intestine, how it is absorbed? I said if this is the small intestine, it passes through the blood vessels in the wall of small intestine. And the small intestine has a special finger-like structures in between. They have small finger-like projection in the wall of the small intestine. And this is called as villus. This is called as villus, V-I-L-L-U-S, plural villi. Singular villus, plural villi. So when the digested food passes through the small intestine and the nutrients are absorbed through this villus, it increases the surface. Already it is a long coil tube. Till this villus, it increases the surface area of the small intestine to absorb the nutrients. Area adhiga lot of nutrients will be absorbed. So it is a finger-like projection in the wall of the intestine, small intestine, through which the absorbed food will be digested food will be absorbed. Next, from this small intestine, the food will enter into the large intestine. And another one, this absorbed food materials will be utilized by the body again to form the complex food such as proteins and fats. So here, up to the small intestine, complex food is converted into simple food. Next, again, after absorption, the nutrients will be absorbed in the blood and it will be sent to the required parts. There again it will be converted from simple food into complex food, and this is called as, and it will be used by the body, and this process is called assimilation. Assimilation. So two processes, one is absorption, another one assimilation. So the simple sugars, again it will be converted into complex food for the requirement of the body. The body needs carbohydrates, proteins for its growth, maintenance and repair and all. So that will be again, they will be converted from the simple sugars into complex food by the organs. So that process is called, in which the body could be used, it is called assimilation. So hope you understand, the food what we take will not be directly absorbed by our body. So the digestion process is going on. After the digestion gets over, again it is converted into complex food, that is carbohydrate and proteins which the body could be used. Okay, our body needs more protein for growth, to release energy. Carbohydrate will be react in the presence of oxygen, it will be converted into sugars and the energy will be released. Is it not? It will be converted into carbon dioxide and water. Carbohydrate means nothing but glucose, C6H12O6. So with the help of oxygen, it will be converted into carbon dioxide and water, and energy will be released, which our body needs. So like this, after digestion, the simple one will be converted into complex one. After all the energy is absorbed, nutrients are absorbed and energy is released, the waste food will be sent to large intestine. Next step, the waste, unabsorbed and undigested food. In large intestine, what is sent? Unabsorbed. So in the small intestine, all the nutrients are absorbed. After that, the remaining unabsorbed and undigested food. And undigested food, it will be sent to large intestine. So here in the large intestine, what will happen? Again, the unabsorbed salts. Next, in the large intestine, unabsorbed salts and remaining water. Remaining water will be absorbed in large intestine. So in the large intestine, see, from here the unabsorbed salts and water will be absorbed in the large intestine, and the remaining waste will be sent out as feces, and it will be stored for a short time in a part called rectum. Rectum is a part of the digestive system where the undigested food, waste products are stored for a short period, and at regular intervals it will be sent out through anus. Okay, so the digestion starts in the buccal cavity and ends in anus. So in between, lot of process goes on. This is regarding the human digestive system. Hope you all understand up to this. Next one. So this digestive system you have to draw in your classwork. This diagram may be asked separately. Okay. Next one. Digestion in grass-eating animals. Digestion in grass-eating animals. That means what? Generally you may call it as a herbivores also you may call grass. So up to this we saw, and as digestion in herbivores now we have to see. So grass eating animals. We are eating greens also, some type of greens, but not the grass. The herbivores are eating grass. Why we can't? Because the grass eating animals, they have a separate chamber for the digestion of that grass. That means grass is also containing a carbohydrate that is called cellulose. In grass, what is present? Cellulose. A carbohydrate called cellulose is present, and this cellulose could be digested only by these animals, and we humans cannot digest this cellulose. That is why we are not able to eat the grass. Then how this is able to digest this Grass means these herbivores, they will chew and they will swallow rapidly. You could see the cow rapidly graze the grass and they will go and rest in a place, and they will again what they will do? They will chew. In the beginning it will graze the grass with great speed. Then it will sit in a place, rest in a place, and it will continue to chew the food. That means first it will chew partially digested in the mouth itself. In humans, in the mouth itself, the digestion starts. So in the same way, in the herbivores also, they will cut and they will eat the grass and they will swallow. First they will swallow, without chewing they will swallow, and they will store that in a chamber called rumen. These grass eating herbivores, animals have 4 chambered digestive part. In the digestive system they have got 4 chambers. In that the part called rumen, they will store the partially digested food. They will store the partially digested food. And this partially digested food is called as cud. This partially digested food, மாடு அசை போட்டு பார்த்துருப்பீங்க, அந்த அசை போட்டு அது இப்படி முழுங்கிடும் ஃபஸ்ட்டு, அதுக்கு பேர் என்னது? cud. Then they will store that in a chamber called rumen. After they will go and sit relaxedly in a place, and they will bring back that cud back to the mouth and they chew well. And the partially digested food they will again bring back. It is called as cud. And they will chew again and again. Then they will chew well and then again they will swallow. So this partially digested food is called cud, and the animals which chew the cud are called ruminants. The animals which chew the cud are called ruminants, and the process of chewing the cud is called rumination. Rumination, process of chewing the cud. Chewing the cud is called rumination, and the animals which chew the cud are called ruminants. Cud means what? Partially digested food. Okay, and there is a chamber between, that's rumen only, the partially digested food is stored. Next one, there is a part or chamber in between small intestine and large intestine. In between small intestine and large intestine, there is a chamber called cecum. What chamber? Cecum. In large intestine there is a chamber called cecum where the cellulose is digested. So in that chamber only the cellulose, the carbohydrate in the grass gets digested. That is why we don't have this chamber and all, and the special kind of bacteria also helps in digesting that cellulose. So that kind of bacteria and this digestive part and all is not present in humans. That is why we are not able to eat and digest that grass. Understand? So the process of chewing the cud is called rumination, and the animals which chew the cud are called ruminants, and the cud is stored in a chamber called rumen, and there is a chamber called cecum in between small intestine and large intestine. It is called cecum where that cellulose is digested. That cellulose is nothing but the carbohydrate present in grass. So are you all clear about this? So we studied about human digestive system and digestion in herbivores. Next, so these ruminants, human beings or other animals, they are having mouth and they take the food. So the process of taking the food into the mouth is called ingestion. In the beginning itself I explained you. The process of taking in the food is called ingestion, and the process of giving out the waste or excreting the waste is called egestion. So ingestion and egestion. Ingestion means taking the food in, and egestion means giving out the waste, excreting the waste is called egestion. Now in organisms, in single celled organisms, like example amoeba, AMOEBA, amoeba. In amoeba, it is a single celled and there is no special structures for digestion or respiration or whatever, because it is a single cell. Then how they are able to take their food, how they are able to digest, how they are living. Let us see about that now. That is, in case of amoeba, already you know it is a single cellular organism and it has a membrane, cell membrane. In animals, it has a cell membrane and doesn't have a definite shape. But all other things, that means the nucleus or small vacuoles, cytoplasm, everything will be present. Okay, nucleus, vacuoles, small vacuoles, all the things will be present and they will produce a false feed called pseudopodia. Pseudo means what? False. Podia means feet. So, false feet. Pseudopodia means false feet. Then and there they will, if they want, they will protrude its false pseudopodia. So at that time, if it sends any food organ, if it goes near a food organ during the movement, if this is the food organ, what it will do? It will protrude its pseudopodia around this food particle. They will engulf. See, what they will do means they will bring its part like this. They will extend its pseudopodia around this food particle and engulf. And this food will be taken in and it will be digested in the food vacuole inside the body. And it will be sent out after digestion through the food vacuole itself. Here it will be like this, it will be sent out. So in the single celled animal also, if they don't have enough digestive system or mouth or whatever it is, they engulf the food particles with the help of pseudopodia, that is false feet. They will engulf it in the food vacuole. This is the food vacuole. So in the food vacuole, the food will be taken, digested, it will be absorbing the nutrients and the waste will be sent out through the body surface. So in this way, the digestion also takes place even in single celled organisms. So the ingestion, digestion and egestion, all the process are commonly seen in all living organisms, that the mechanism only differs. Understand, children? So in this chapter we saw different ways of taking food in different organisms, then human digestive system, various compartments present and what are the functions going on in the human digestive system, and digestion in herbivores or grass eating animals, next digestion in amoeba. All these things we studied, and we saw an experiment, that effect of saliva on starch, that also we studied. So you practice this digestive system well, read the book thoroughly and understand. Thank you, children.